Welcome, everyone, to Metal Brunch Club, episode 28.
Super excited to be hanging out today. We are talking about one of the most consistent bands in metalcore. You can't tell from the guitar riff. Today we're talking about
August Burns Red. Dang.
I could just listen to that song for the whole rest of the episode.
I'm like, I wish that was it just kept going. But
that was Mariana's Trench.
Mariana's Trench. What a classic.
What a classic. So August Burns Red. It's a fun episode today. We're finally doing it after saying we were going to do it for like 3 episodes, but then Linkin Park happened and, life finds a way. So we're going to be talking about August Burns Red. August Burns, yes, that's their name. Their new album, Death Below.
Ooh.
But because we're a bunch of old heads, we're also going to talk about elder millennials.
What did you say? We were talking about this.
Elder millennials.
Week.
I think was what it was.
You were like, we're kind of like elder metalcore guys, and I'm like, oh fuck, we are, dude.
Dude, like
we're your fucking elders, bro.
Yeah,
so
bro.
Listen up.
Us. So we're going to be talking about the first 3 albums of August Burns Red, Thrillseeker, Messengers, and Constellation, because.
Come on.
We're going to see how they've kind of evolved their sound. A lot of people kind of say they sound the same over the last, 20-something years. Yeah. ABR, if you're unaware, they're from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. They burst onto the scene in 2003 wearing flip-flops and pop collars from Abercrombie & Fitch, and they just absolutely blew everyone's mind. They've released quite a few albums. I want to say 7. I didn't have that in my notes, but I think it's about 7. They've actually been nominated for 2 Grammys, which I didn't know about until I was looking through here. So good job, those guys. Good job not winning, but good job at least being nominated.
Nominations, okay, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. So Death Below. 10
3 people who are nowhere near close to that.
So they've released 10 albums. I apologize. So Death Below has come out a little bit ago, and we're going to talk about it. I actually found out that the August Burns Red was a weird band name. Apparently, there was a rumor going around for a long time that it was about the original vocalist. He was dating a woman named August, and she burned his dog named Red alive in the doghouse. And that's what they named the band after. Pretty fucked up. And then, a few years later, they were crazy. That was actually a joke. And it's just that
thank the Lord.
Yeah, dark ass joke.
That's a very dark.
It's not cool.
No, not cool at all. You don't talk about dogs getting hurt ever.
Yeah.
There's a website for that, so you can skip movies if the dog gets hurt. So it's tight.
Does this guy look the same now?
He looks the same.
I think that's actually pretty. Yeah, he has not.
He's never changed.
I'll toss his picture up into the the background. That is the guitarist.
Right?
I think that's.
He's always looked the same.
Yeah, that's John JB, I believe. He's always had kind of surfer vibes. They've all fairly looked the same. They've been the same members pretty much since about 2006, which is pretty impressive. So what do you before we kind of get into everything, my trajectory with this band? I was super hard on these guys. I was hard for them.
Yes.
Up until Constellations, and then really hard fell off. Liked their album Rescue and Restore, which came out I think in 2015. And then fell off again. I've been pretty up and down, but their first 3 albums are definitely very formative metalcore albums for me. So what are you guys kind of trajectories and paths that you guys went down with them?
I want to say we're pretty similar.
Yeah.
In that it was the same situation. Thrillseeker came out, and I was like, this is different.
Yeah.
And then the first 3 records for me, all 3 full of bangers. I know them all front to back.
Yeah.
Listen to them, over and over and over again. And then after that, same for me. I kind of fell off. I'll be honest, I haven't really listened to much of anything from August Burns Red since their 3rd record. But I might go listen to a song or whatever, listen to the record. I've definitely listened to every record, but I haven't really come back to them, for whatever reason. So it was fun to listen to the new record. And I did a lot of things about it. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, probably similar for you as well.
Yeah, for me, I think I discovered Thrill Seeker like a year or two after it came out.
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh my God, like this band is incredible. And Messengers just took over for me. Like I listened to that album front to back like 1,000 times.
It was
just
not on the back burner for you.
No. I like that. I like what you did there.
Thank you.
But it was an incredible album. And then I remember being like, August Burns Red is like one of my favorite bands. Like I have to get Constellations. Like I pre-ordered it. You know, I had like the CD, the poster,
the digipack
art.
and everything like that.
Yeah, because back then, you know, you had the physical stuff.
The fold outs and you had the lyric booklet.
Yep,
and
it was so cool.
Back in our day.
Yeah. The three first albums though, where it's at, and I kind of fell off. Leveler, didn't really listen to much. I kind of came back for Phantom Anthem.
Yeah.
But
there were some bangers on Phantom
There
Anthem,
were.
yeah.
And then honestly, the most recent release, Death Below, surprised me. So
Yeah.
we'll get into that.
I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah.
But first, we can't talk about where we are without talking about where we've been.
Oh,
Yes.
Right. So yeah, Thrill Seeker, their first full length with a different vocalist, which I am embarrassed to admit. Like it took me maybe 10 years of listening to ABR to realize that it wasn't Jake Waters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they pulled the Misery Signals thing where they got pretty much an identical vocalist.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the second vocalist was better than the first vocalist.
Well, that point, I don't know about that.
People
Sometimes.
might debate that.
It's a point I'll make with Death Below. He was really good at the beginning when his voice didn't sound shot to shit. He's definitely, you can tell the road's taking its toll on him. But yeah, so Thrill Seeker, their OG vocalist, their first album. It's a fucking banger and a slapper.
Yeah, after all this time, it still holds up.
It still sounds really good too. Like I went back and listened to it and I was like, you could pass this as a 2023 metalcore album for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know this, but according to their wiki, it says in 2020 they released the 15th anniversary of a virtual live stream for Thrill Seeker. I never saw that. I'm gonna have to go find that and listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I knew
That'd be fun
Mystery
to watch.
Singles did that with
They had a guest appearance
Malice.
from McManus too.
Oh, shit.
Okay, now I'm really gonna have to do.
Yeah, all right, we're gonna have to find that.
He
later.
did the vocals on Consumer, so
cool.
That's cool.
you learn something new every day. But yeah, Thrill Seeker is definitely the OG.
Yeah.
Taking it way back.
I actually found that
2005.
after I listened to Messengers. I think Messengers was my intro to the band, and then I went back to listen to Thrill Seeker, and I was like, "Yo, like these guys, they know how to throw down for sure." I was young, I was thrill seeking, so I'm just on a roll with these.
You're quite the barbarian.
Well-
Your little suburbia ran in ruins.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's
Got the endorphins flowing and everything.
yeah, man.
So we tasked
Wishful dreams.
we tasked Bryan with finding 2 songs from Thrill Seeker,
Which is tough.
which
It's
is hard
very
because
tough.
every song is great. I
Yeah.
feel like that's going to be the story for all 3 of these records.
Yeah.
But which ones did you pick, Bryan?
It was hard to choose, but I think most impactful to me were Speech Impediment and Endorphins. So
yes.
let's take a listen to some Speech Impediment.
Oh, cut down.
It was like I didn't know when to cut it, but I could listen to the whole song and we'd be okay with it. But
Yeah.
the change ups that song does is crazy. Like I really like what Matt does at one point where he goes from writing writing just a standard crash to like the China with like the next hit.
Yeah.
It's like offbeat shit. Like,
Yeah, it's just so seamless, and they really let like empty space kind of breathe with it, and it's really cool.
I feel like some of their on a guitar level, what they were really good at is they would have a part and they'd say maybe take a lead or have some type of riff integrated into it, and then that would lead into like the next part and become something integral of that next riff. And I
They
was like,
still do
man,
that on with this new record. And like that's definitely like a thing that they've always done. So
they're really good at it.
yeah, this is like the very early beginnings of that sort of idea.
Yeah.
And that's definitely like a common concept that they use all the time.
It's just always funny though, thinking that seeing how they dressed back then. I know we made the joke of it before, but like these homies would always just go up wearing their flip flops, like popped pink polos and like their like cut off cargo shorts and shit like that.
Yeah.
And you're like, what am I
What am I getting into?
Yeah. And then they're just, and you're just like, oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. This is tight.
Yeah.
They shred.
They shred.
They shred. What about Endorphins? I'm excited to hear a clip from that one.
Let's take a listen.
Yeah.
Just another. It's so hard to find a stopping point too, because like we were just talking about it. It's continuous. So it's into the next, into the next, into the next.
It goes
hard.
Man.
It goes hard.
But that whole album, just incredible front to back.
Yeah.
So hard to
Agreed.
choose timestamps.
It was a lot of fun to go back and listen to it again and just remember the old times, you know?
The old times.
It was
Great
just
times.
so innovative, right? Like,
Yeah, it's very innovative.
I can't think of many bands that were. I mean, there were a lot of bands that had elements of that, but like they just melded everything so nicely together, and their songwriting was just already so cohesive and mature for a band that like just put out their first full length.
Yeah.
Like, not really much wasted space. Every section moved into the next section, like you said, it builds upon itself. It was just really a fucking banger right out the gate.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those bands too, like where I would like learn like their breakdown. You know, I could do it like with my mouth. You know what I mean? Like, boom, bum, boom, bum, boom, bam, boom, bum, boom, bum, boom, bam, boom, bum, bum, boom, boom, bam, boom, bum, boom, bam, and I would just be like, oh, I'm fucking good, dude. Like,
I could totally play this.
I could fucking play this for sure. Like, but I don't want to right now.
Yeah, no, he could though. Trust us.
But I could.
Like,
but I
yeah,
could.
totally could.
But that moves us along into the next banger of a record that they put out in 2007, Messengers.
Some might say their biggest banger.
Yeah, and I wanted to show. It was my turn to pick a couple tracks from this one, and so I wanted to show a few of my faves.
Whoa.
Same fucking thing though. I was like, oh, I love every song on this record. So how am I supposed to choose? So I picked the first song on the record, "Truth of a Liar," because the intro is just it's iconic. I remember like listening to this record so much, and after Thrill Seeker, I was like really excited for it. And then this record comes out, and like I put this song on, this like first song on, and I was like, yes.
Oh, okay.
Like I am like fucking excited to listen to this record like every day for the rest of the summer. And I think that's probably what I did. So I'm going to play that little bit for you, and you guys will recognize it instantly if you're true fans. Yeah. Yeah.
I think this album was what started my obsession with China cymbals.
Oh, for everyone it did.
yeah.
Everyone, I was like, I gotta buy a China cymbal now. You know what I mean?
The crispiest.
Yeah.
Like, and
That shit's all over this record too.
That intro though, like, yeah, it really is one of the best.
They re-released this album, and I don't feel like the China is as good.
No, I actually
remember listening to it. And
re-listened to this album with the remaster because I hadn't yet, and I was like, this doesn't have like the punch.
It's
that
missing
I
the
remember it
China.
having.
Yeah, it's missing the China.
That China isn't the furthest thing forward in this mix right now. What is with this? Like,
I'm too used to hearing this.
Yeah.
I also feel like, I mean, they always had breakdowns, but I feel like Messengers was really the album where like the breakdowns were like the centerpiece, the focal point, right? Like, and that's kind of what brought that into the forefront for them.
Mm-hmm. Well, the second one I chose is actually Back Burner,
Oh, it's just a breakdown.
which, basically. Definitely one of the more memorable breakdowns as well, too, on the record. So, I'm going to play it for you. You're going to love it. So, here we go. Yeah. Yeah, and then they go into a speedy blazing fast riff there, and it's
The riffing was top tier on this album.
riffing was top tier. All the drums were a lot of fun, especially for me because I was like, "Oh, I suck." Listening to this back then.
Yeah, Matt's still one of the, in my opinion, one of the top. I mean, he might be the best metalcore drummer that there is.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, the guy is
I could see
always
that.
clean. If you watch any of his live videos,
Yeah, live he was always like amazing.
the
live.
dude does not fucking miss.
Yeah,
Like-
he always had like a massive drum set too. I was like, "Damn
And
it!"
he's always smiling when he's doing it. Like, he's sitting here blasting for like 4 hours straight, and he's just handsome and smiling. It's like,
Yeah.
Why do you get everything?
Yeah, yeah. I want to be you.
I want to be you. Okay. I don't want to practice, but I want to be you.
I have no discipline, but I want to be you, please.
But I want to be you, my man. Yeah, dude. Messengers was also like my kind of. The lyrics were positive in like a cheesy way that hadn't like. It was still kind of new back then. And so like every single song had that fucking hype line that when you heard it, you just were ready to go. Like,
Yeah.
It was always so good.
Yep.
Messengers was tight.
Messengers was great,
So good,
which
man.
leads us into the next one.
Constellations.
Constellations.
Constellations might be. I mean, Thrill Seeker's a banger. Don't get me wrong. Constellations might be my favorite ABR record, though.
It feels like it's like they figured out what they do. They've got it perfect.
Right.
At that point.
And then they started to add like some more kind of like progressive-y elements to it too. I mean,
Sure.
you started seeing kind of like their slower bits to things. You started seeing them incorporating other musical instruments into everything.
Yeah.
There's, a lot of really well-known songs off of their Mariana's Trenches that we played in the intro was one of them.
A lot of great melodic stuff.
And I think everyone's kind of going to know, but I was tasked with selecting two songs from this album, which was very, very tough as well.
So tough.
But the first one I'm going to bring to you guys is Paradox. I think once you guys hear it, you'll understand why. Just that intro to the breakdown with the
Yeah, all the drum fills and shit.
all the drum fills.
Yeah.
And wouldn't pay a penny for your And
Yeah.
They do what they do so well with the breakdown, the little fucking lead shit over it, like the little like lead riff that's happening.
Yeah, I think this was actually the first record that Dusty, the bassist, was pretty big and also composing. Like he's been a key writer, I think, in most of their later albums.
Yeah.
But I think this is the first one where he actually started writing like some guitar parts and everything like that in there
Nice.
too. And it's also kind of apparent too because you can hear the bass really well on this album.
Yeah.
And probably because Dusty's like,
It's like, I want to be heard.
I want to be heard.
I'm tired of this shit.
I think, well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Please.
I was just going to say, I remember, previously you were talking about kind of like the cheesy lyrics,
Yeah.
but this album, even though it had some cheesy lyrics, I still remember the song Whitewash, and he's like,
Yeah.
this pen and ink ammunition. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's so cheesy, but I still love it. He's like, thank you for the inspiration. I'm like, fuck, I can't help but like that.
how many
Yeah.
people do you think got that tattooed onto their
right?
arms?
Way too
Pen
many.
and ink ammunition. Yeah.
In like the shape of a gun or something like that. Like the words were a gun.
Yeah.
And they were
It's a
like,
bullet.
yeah, this is the
Yeah,
coolest
yeah.
thing.
Like, oh, this? Yeah, I just got that. Whatever.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's not a deal. Don't worry. It's not even that big deal. It's cool though, right?
It's cool though, right? So yeah, first I brought you Paradox.
Yeah.
And again, it was really hard. I was like, do I want to do Mariana's Trench? No, because like everyone knows.
Yeah.
Everyone
And then whenever you didn't pick it, I was like, well, I gotta put that as the intro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was my first choice, but I was like, I'm the asshole of the group. Like I can't pick
Yeah.
the
You
one
can't
that
pick the
had
most well-known
22 billion
parts.
plays.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I chose Meddler. And this song just
Meddler.
fucking slaps.
It's a good one.
Yeah. Matt just going crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, the first time I heard that like little like tom cymbal fill thing that he did in that, I was like, I gotta steal that, and I
Such a
still
good
fucking stole
build-up.
that shit for sure, in like different bands and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
No, totally agree. And
like,
I'm just a slut for some good, like, yeah, Tom fill in along with your breakdown and everything like that. And it's just
Yeah.
fun. It fills up that space really well. And that fucking guitar lead in the second half
Yeah.
of it is just
like
so
the
good.
like delayed guitar lead. That shit was fucking tight, bro.
Yeah, bro. So yeah, Constellations though, it slaps. There's not a bad song on
It's
it.
a slammer.
I can
all the way
listen to
through.
that album and go exactly back to 2009 and like when I listened to it.
Yeah.
It's like
Shit, yeah.
I
so
worked
good.
at a car wash, and I remember Messengers and Constellations coming out at the same time, and there were a handful of us that were all super big into metalcore, and it was just like the only thing we played back in the back while we were like,
Yeah.
starting to prep the car and everything, and so it was like for 2 or 3 summers, ABR summer,
Yeah. These definitely were records that were like anytime me and like all of our friends would like be hanging out, it was on in the background at some
Right.
point in time.
Yeah.
Somebody popped the CD and took All Shall Perish out and then put
How dare they?
and put August Burn Red in there. It was like, hell yeah, dude, we can play some beer pong and
Like
listen to
beer
this shit.
pong.
Yeah, but that was, like I said, we all kind of are similar where that was the last album that we all listened to, which is interesting because obviously we all love those first 3 albums. And
Yeah.
so it's just like, the joke is, in the comments is always ABR just does ABR. Like they haven't really innovated. They've just kind of owned their craft until like a sharp point. And
Yeah.
that's what they
Stayed
do.
with that. Yeah.
And so
Works
that,
for them.
that brings us to Death Below. that sound overly negative?
You're like, no, yeah.
They're like,
I was just
"Damn,
trying
we
to
had a lot of
transition to it."
releases in between that time.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the newest one.
Well, I mean, over time, they started being more progressive, right?
Yeah.
Like Rescue and Restore saw them bringing like mandolins and like violin and shit like that into their compositions, and so they've always just been kind of adding.
They've tried new things.
They've definitely
Yeah.
experimented. Like, I don't remember what album it was, but they literally had like a country western kind of.
I think that was Rescue and Restore.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what's going on here. I mean,
It's
good for
different.
them, but
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here. So
it's just a weird thing that we felt like, because there's obviously fun parts that they've had in all their albums.
Yeah.
It's just weird that we're all just like, no. And I feel
Yeah.
like that's a very common thing with a lot of people in that like this style of music.
For
It's
sure.
like they love those first 3 albums, hit and miss on everything in between. And it's wild because ABR is still one of like the biggest
Yeah.
metal bands currently writing music.
It's literally like our number one fan, Dustin, actually like texted me. He's like, I listened to August Burns Red because he knew that we were going to be talking about it, and he was like, yeah, like I just didn't really
Vibe.
I didn't really even make it through the whole thing. It was all right.
Yeah.
and he's a fan of the early stuff.
And yeah,
Yeah.
he loves all the early stuff as well. Yeah, so he's he knows all their previous records and
That actually
that stuff.
transitions fairly well to my thoughts on this album, which is just it is music made by talented dudes that I can't tell. Like there are 2 or 3 songs I think that really stand out. Revival is really cool. Dark Divide is really cool, and then the closing track with Spencer Chamberlain from Under Oath is really neat.
Yeah.
And if they sounded more like that all the time on that closing track, they'd be unparalleled. Like they'd be the best band making music right now. But I have a hard time really like. I've listened to this album 3 times now, and I can't tell you like
I can't remember half of
where
it.
one song ends and one begins.
Yeah.
Like it's not bad. There's just
It's great. I mean, the production quality is great.
Dude, yeah.
The guitar work, like everything is great. Vocal, guitar work, all drums, like it's August Burns Red. Like they're obviously like still like at their peak, like writing
Yeah.
amazing music, but just something about it just feels, I don't know, overly done or like repetitive or just like it was fine. Like
Yeah.
I listened to it all the way through and I feel like I probably won't revisit it though for whatever reason. Just
yeah.
can't quite
Like I think
figure out what it is, but
really stands out like going back and listening to their first 3 albums, and you see like I don't know, that chaotic energy is still kind of there, and it was fresh, and they seemed excited about it. Not that they probably aren't excited about writing music now anymore, but it
Yeah.
just doesn't.
maybe I've changed.
Yeah, I think that's really what it is. We're just old assholes now.
Yeah.
Brian,
could be
what
it.
do you think of Death Below?
I mean, honestly, it kind of surprised me compared to the past, like, I don't know, 3-4 releases that they put out. This is probably the one album that kind of gave myself some attention outside of maybe Phantom Anthem. But, I mean, it could be just we're different people now and whatnot. But it does feel like they do have their style of writing. They stick within their comfort zone. They don't really expand beyond that.
Right.
I liked the guest appearances from like one of the songs. They have Jason Richardson come on and just shred his balls off.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, that's cool.
Tightrope.
But at the same time, you're like, that's cool. But I mean,
Yeah.
eh.
Yeah.
We've all heard fucking Jason
Right,
shred his
yeah.
balls off. You know what I mean?
And they have Jesse Leach on one song. They have JT Cavey. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Cavey or KV or whatever. Era, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is guest starring. So
A lot of good features.
a lot of good features. I think the album is well written, but it just doesn't capture the same essence as those first 3 albums.
Yeah.
So,
I
but
would agree with that.
maybe it's different times. Maybe it's us.
out of touch.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some elder metalcore boys.
It's the elder.
Well, let's talk about a couple of little clips. Let's just show you guys what the fuck we're talking
Yeah.
about here.
Yeah.
Jordan, what about?
Yeah, so one of the things that I really appreciate playing bass myself, and we always joke about how bassists aren't really like appreciated in metal, which is fair because they don't do shit. But Dustin,
They do stuff. You just can never hear them.
you just
They're
can't
like,
ever hear it. Dustin, though, is such like a prominent part of what they do that it's always very audible. And so I chose a song Dark Divide from this album. It's probably one of the most bass heavy songs on the album. It's also one that takes a lot of time to allow just like the quiet moments to breathe. Like they don't just have every single second filled with just like balls to the wall noise. It is a very like plotting, methodical song, and I think it's really cool. So I got a little bit from Dark Divide where you can hear how thick that bass tone is.
Thick.
Do you think we all like that riff because of the harmonics? It's kind of like taking it back. It is taking it back. Like,
Yeah.
It's nice to hear that and to be able to go with like, you know, like I've only heard that riff maybe twice. I listened to the record I think 2 times, and you know, I just knew that it was going to happen. You know what I mean? I like that. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, you picked the song. I actually really like the intro of this.
The intro was
song.
the other part that I was thinking about picking off of the song.
I was like, oh dang, he picked the one I was going to go for.
I think it's the strongest song on the album.
Yeah, I think so too. It's really good.
Yeah, it's cool. Like I said, it's a very percussive, heavy song. I don't know. I thought it was neat. I think it's fun, and you see kind of Jake doing some other stuff with his vocals with the kind of like clean yelly stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to see him kind of doing some variation to what he normally does.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
What about you, Brian?
I chose the following track, Deadbolt. So let's take a listen.
The clock is counting down. Now we burn for the soul. Our patience has run out.
Yeah.
It's fun drum fill.
I mean, that song is a lot of fun. But I chose that part just because it's, I don't know, they're really good at just being so intricate with the leads over their breakdowns. Like you're like, I don't know if this even needs a lead, and they're like, oh well, we're gonna give you a lead. Yeah, and you're like, oh okay, well that actually works great.
I would have never thought of that. So
I just always like how everyone has something to do in this band. Like even in a breakdown, it's not just, you know, guys just hanging out there doing nothing. Like everyone's kind of playing around on the fretboard. Matt's just doing his thing.
Well, I chose Tightrope, which we mentioned it features the great Jason Richardson, but I didn't really pick it because of him. I picked it because, well, specifically this part is sort of like an example of like a thing that they do, like that we heard in Thrill Seeker and Messengers and Constellations. Like, just like we even talked a little bit about this. I'll just play it for you real quick.
Yep.
This won't happen was engraved in my head. My absence was always my escape. I was it in the best place. Your own memories I can't restore. Not stories of faith and folklore. My undivided attention
Yeah, so
A lot going on there.
a lot going on there. In the start of it, you know, they always do that thing where they have a riff and then it evolves and then it's like a breakdown with the riff in the breakdown, and so they always do that where they evolve the riff and they do it in different ways, and then the rest of it, there's just like the, you know, melodic with crazy drums and like yelly bits happening on top of it. Like,
Yeah.
just, you know, it's just very much August Burns Red. And so just a good example of like, okay, I feel like I've heard some variation of all of this on, you know, their earlier records. And while it's a lot of fun, it just doesn't feel like anything specifically new for them, but it's also still like badass at the same time. Like I'm listening to it like that's actually a whole lot of fun. But for whatever reason, I don't know.
They really, it's such a weird like phenomena with this band, because like if there was some no-name band that came out with this same album, I probably would have been like, this is pretty tight. Like this is a really
Sounds
cool
like August
thing.
Burns Red.
Yeah, and
Are
it's
you
just
like more intrigued because it's not?
yeah,
August
it's
Burns Red.
August Burns
Yeah.
Red has like occupies this weird space where
Yeah.
like obviously everyone's super talented. Obviously they write like fun and catchy music,
Yeah.
but everyone just like bored by it, and no one really has like a concrete thing other than just it sounds like more August Burns Red, which is like a complaint you can throw against literally any band. Like we joke about Misery Signals all the time.
Yeah.
They
The best band ever.
the best band ever. They've sounded pretty much the same.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, but it fucking slaps
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know.
And we get excited because bands like Boundaries come around.
Right.
And we're like, oh, this sounds like Misery Signals. But it's
Yeah.
not Misery
Even
Signals.
like that clip that I showed you, like I'm not gonna lie, like some of the yelly bits and stuff in there, like reminded me a little bit of like a Misery
Oh
Signals.
well, that like legit some of the lyrics that he had. I was like, you could put this in a Misery Signals
Yeah.
song, like
For sure.
Uh,
So you know,
and then maybe that's just because Misery Signals was like the most innovative band ever. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
And maybe ABR
complaints
just
here.
sounds like every other band is the problem. Like every other band can shred, other bands can blast.
Breakdowns.
Like, they can have their breakdowns.
Yeah.
The last thing I kind of want to talk about, I want to get you guys' opinion. What do you guys think of Jake's vocals on this album?
I mean, I think you can see that he's good at the thing that he does, but he has also evolved a little bit and stepping outside of the box a little bit.
Yeah.
With like some of his delivery and some of the clean, like little clean, like yelly bits and stuff like that. I think it didn't really stand out to me in a way where I was like, I really love the vocals on this record compared to the other ones. Just like my opinion on this whole thing so far, it was just like, oh, this is August Burns Red.
Yeah, it's August Burns Red.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's doing anything like groundbreaking here.
Yeah.
But I think
Damn, Bryan.
he's
Drag
I think
him.
he's good. He's great at what he does, but it's not the same as the hype that was around the early stuff.
Back in the day, yeah.
And I feel like I'm sorry.
No.
Were you about to say something?
No, not at all.
I was just gonna say, when Messengers came out and you were like, holy shit, like this is incredible. He even then kind of changed up a little bit, I think, in Constellations.
Yeah.
And, you know, sorry for not giving other albums its due where it probably is needed, but like those two, I feel like back and forth are still drastically different for him vocally.
Yeah.
And like this stuff is probably the harness of like, you know, his entire 10 plus whatever year
Right.
career. But I've heard it from you, Jake. I've heard it. So.
Right.
I've heard it.
I've heard it from you. Yeah, he's I think the weakest part of the band for me at this point.
Ooh, roasted, boom, roasted. Sorry, Jake.
My guy's got some
Bitch.
range, and he does a really cool growl on the song Revival, where like it's this gnar ass low, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I see you, Jake. But I don't know, he just
But
sounds
sorry, you're weak.
his like he kind of
I'm
has
just
like
kidding.
almost like
we can't do it.
I've had a little too much wine. I'm
yeah,
sorry, Jake.
it's fine. We're wine drunk now. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. There's like this like weird like whiny kind of like raw quality to his vocals, like a squeaky quality at times, I think, just because I think he's just been screaming for so long that like his shit's just
Yeah.
tired at this
I
point.
wouldn't tell him to his face though.
I think he
looks
could
like a
he could
badass.
deadlift me
Yeah.
in 5 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not
And
a
if
bad
I
vocalist.
got to meet him, I'd be like, I never said anything bad about you.
You're the best vocalist I've ever
amazing.
seen.
Yeah. Oh my
And then
god,
Bryan
your vocals
texts
on
me,
the new
delete the
record.
episode. Delete the
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Remove it.
Like he's not a bad vocalist. I just think he sounds tired. It's like what I think of Mike Hironaka from or Hironika from Devil Wears Prada, where it's just like their voices have sounded more tired as time has gone on.
That's rough, yeah, to do that over all the years, all the touring and just everything. Like,
I can't begrudge.
Gotta take a toll.
Tommy Giles from Between the Bear to Me also sounds nowhere near as good as he used to. It's, I think, just kind of the way that it goes.
Constant years of touring and doing
slowly
it.
dying.
Slowly dying.
Yeah,
Not getting paid enough for your craft.
Yeah.
No, death below, more like death here on ground level.
Me.
Not.
Yeah, by Jake, who's gonna find us.
Yeah,
Jake's gonna find
Please,
us.
I'm so sorry. You're great.
I'm so sorry. Please,
You're amazing.
Yeah. Anyway.
So we've been talking about old shit. You know, we've been talking about new shit. We've been talking about how this sounds like this, that sounds like that. Compare. We gave Bryan a hefty challenge this time around. We asked him to string together one giant August Burns Red breakdown. So we're spanning from the very beginning with Thrill Seeker, all the way to the newest record, and we've got one breakdown from each one of these bad boys.
9 breakdowns.
9 of them.
9 breakdowns.
And
I didn't
took me-
include any Christmas albums or anything like that.
Yeah, it took me a while to sort of put it all together, but I can't wait to listen to this.
Breakdown Bry.
Breakdown Bry. First, I need
Bry.
a little bit of
Oh, I need some.
I need some wine.
Some
Hook
juice.
me up with the box here. Thank you.
Thank you, Sippy, for
you,
providing
Sippy.
us with this wine.
Hopefully, there's more. There's got to be more in there.
Yeah, hopefully there's some more in there.
Yeah, there's some more in there. Yeah.
I'm gonna cut out this audio, and we are going to charge an arm and a leg because it sounds like someone's peeing.
Sounds like someone's peeing.
Sounds like someone's peeing. All right, I got my grown-up juice.
Me too. Bryan, you don't have any grown-up
I
juice?
don't have any grown-up juice.
All right, I'll get you a little bit more here.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
Box
A
wine.
bunch of fucking hard asses drinking box wine.
Boy, I tell you what.
Boy, I tell you what.
Yeah.
Back in Nam, we drank box wine.
Fuck yeah,
Box
brother.
wine.
Let's listen to this breakdown.
Yeah.
Is this a new song? I can't tell. Yeah, I don't know.
I fucking love this breakdown. There were many times where I didn't know when the one song ended the other began. And I was like, is this just a weird time signature change?
Yeah,
Is this
it's
a new
just the same breakdown. I can't tell. Yeah,
Can't tell anymore.
The beginning, I'm like, oh yeah, and then like it starts to get to a point where I'm kind of like, what's going? Is this the same song?
Yeah,
or I'm like looking at the
happening?
wave file, like, is this the next? I can't fucking tell. So there you go.
They've had some good bangers in there. I'm glad you put the one, The Abyss with JT on there.
Yeah, it's fun.
I actually really like JT's guest spot on this album. That was
Yeah.
pretty good.
He's crazy good live too. If you've ever seen Air live,
No, I haven't. I want to though.
yeah, they're solid.
That was fun though. I mean, it all sounded similar. But like,
But
Did
the
it
thing
sound
is,
like
like,
one big
we could probably do
breakdown?
that with like riffs as well too. Like,
Yeah.
go through and find like a riff from every record.
That might be
and
a little
it would
bit
be
harder,
the
but I could do it.
It'd be a little bit harder, but it's for sure doable. And you would also like notice the same like sort of pattern
yeah,
throughout the whole thing, and you'd be like, okay, I'm starting to, like, what's going on here?
those guys can throw down some weird time signatures though. Like some of the chugging patterns that they have just melt my brain.
Yeah, absolutely.
At what point do you say, I've already written this breakdown before? Like, I mean, like, do you ever run out of like?
They probably said that
ideas?
15 years ago.
Yeah, when the
It's like-
paychecks are coming in, you just you don't say that
Sounds
ever.
familiar. Yeah, I wrote it 15 years ago.
Yeah, it doesn't fucking matter.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Plagiarized myself.
Well, we also cannot end this podcast without talking about some of the sillier things that August Burns Red has done over the years.
They are a band that has fun.
They do have fun.
I'll give them that.
Yeah. Oh, but then
I'll give them
Thrill
thrill sequel.
Thrill sequel.
I'll give thrill sequel them there. Biggity, and too much wine.
Isn't like one of the covers of one of the Christmas albums like Jake in like a Santa?
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
All I
Suit or
Want for
something.
Christmas Is You, and
Yeah.
he's like doing
He's
a
like-
sultry pose. Like
Yeah.
he's got his little legs kicked up, and he's like
Yep.
just
Yeah, they like photoshopped his head on like Mariah Carey.
on Mariah Carey's
Yeah.
body. Yeah, ain't no way Jake has that ass.
Yeah, no chance.
Get the fuck out of here. You can deadlift as much as you want.
Yeah,
Don't
can't
lie
have
to me.
that ass that don't quit.
Yeah, true.
But we're gonna show you just a couple fun ones over the years. They're actually really good at taking like covers and
Yeah.
like all the Christmas shit that they've done
Their Christmas
and making
albums
it
are
like
dope.
good. It's actually good stuff. But we're gonna start off with a little Zelda cover they did. This is a lot of fun.
They really are.
Yeah, I mean like it's a lot of fun listening to it.
You know,
I mean,
straight up, I got to give them credit because like they could have totally just like jumped ship and just done covers and probably made fuck tons more money
Probably.
Yeah.
just doing covers of other things or like these
Yeah.
tunes inspired by this. But instead, they're just like, no, we're just gonna do this for fun.
Yep.
Like,
I didn't get it, but they also did Chop Suey by.
Dude, yeah, it's actually
I
pretty
didn't
good.
listen to it. I
yeah,
need to. Yeah.
yeah, it's actually a slammer for sure.
yeah, I think Dusty did all of that, even the vocals
Oh, shit.
on it too. Yeah, he is very talented.
Yeah, he's crushing it.
Yeah,
Dusty, old Dusty,
Dusty.
good old Dusty.
good old Dusty. Well, we also got the Home Alone theme. Let's get it.
Their harmonies are really fun.
Yeah.
They always do fun harmonies.
That could have been a Nightmare Before Christmas song.
Yeah.
Man, that's so cool.
Yeah, I always forgot that they did that one. I maybe heard it once or twice. And so when you were like, I brought this one to the table, I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was fun to listen to.
I forgot they did that.
I'm a fan of Christmas. I like watching Home Alone on Christmas.
It's a solid movie.
It's a good Christmas movie.
Their Christmas stuff, though, is definitely... August Burns Red is like, that's what they're known for, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. On one of the things, yeah, for sure.
Specifically, Carol of the Bells.
Yeah.
That's
Carol
like
of
the
Bells.
song that, like, I remember listening to that for the first time and being like,
Yeah.
Christmas is metal, dude.
Christmas
Yeah.
is
I was like
time.
laughing, like, and like simultaneously being like, this song is fucking awesome. So let's listen to it. I love the little the little bell that's in there.
Jake is just going fucking ham.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun too.
Trans-Siberian
every-
Orchestra can eat their
Every
ass.
Christmas rolls around and I play this shit. I'm like, August Burns Red Christmas album? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There was talking about it earlier, there's a funny dog video on YouTube where the owner has their dog like sitting on their lap and he's just air drumming to this song with the dog.
Oh yeah.
And the dog is just like, he gets
feel like I saw
mad a
that.
few times, but
Most
dog
of the
can
time.
shred.
Yeah,
Like,
he's getting it.
Shred.
Yeah, I mean, Matt, watch your back, my guy.
Watch your back,
This
bro.
dude's coming for you. Yeah, so August Burns Red.
August Burns Red. There they are, summed up for you in one easy to listen to podcast
Yes.
block.
As we call it in the industry, we call
a podcast block.
episodes blocks.
Podcast block.
Wow, thanks so much for coming and hanging out with us for episode 28. I think we're at the end of it
28, man.
here.
I think we are, yeah.
Jeez.
Next time, I think we're going to talk about the original Lorna Shore,
Lorna Shore.
Cattle Decapitation,
Yeah.
and their newest album, Terracite.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm,
this is-
I'm super pumped.
Yeah.
I've not really listened to much Cattle Decap, but the last few singles that we've listened to have all been
Great.
Yeah.
fucking tight.
Travis
Very
has really been harnessing that Will Ramos sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
he
so-
sounds like a lot like Will Ramos.
Without Will Ramos, I don't know if Cattle Decap would actually be where they're at right now.
I know, yeah.
I mean, to be straight up with you.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Thank God for their success on TikTok because that's definitely put Cattle Decap on the map.
Yeah. So really excited to hear like these new wave of bands inspired by Lorna Shore.
Yeah. Same.
Can't wait for
Excited to listen to it. Excited to talk about it. If you haven't yet, please give us a follow on the Instagram. Give us a follow on the TikTok. Give us a follow on the Facebook. Join the Discord.
Do it.
For fuck's sake.
Like us on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube.
We got YouTube, we got all kinds of shorter content, easier to digest content on the YouTube. So please check that out as well. Subscribe, like, share, all that stuff. It really helps a lot.
It does.
And we appreciate anyone who is listening this far. And yeah, I'm excited for the next one.
Yeah. See you guys then.
Bye bye.